Let me ask you something personal. When someone pulls out a camera at a family gathering, do you quietly tuck your hands out of frame? When someone reaches for your hand at the dinner table, do you pull back just slightly, not because you don't want the connection, but because you feel self-conscious about what they might notice? If that sounds familiar, I want you to stay with me for the next few minutes, because what I'm about to share with you today changed how several of my patients feel about their own skin. And it starts with something so simple, so affordable, that most people walk right past it at the grocery store without a second thought. I've spent 32 years watching patients come into my office frustrated, not because they're sick, but because they feel invisible inside their own skin. They tell me, "Dr. Albert, I take care of myself. I drink water, I use lotion, but my hands still look like they belong to someone 20 years older than I feel." And today, I'm going to explain exactly why that happens, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it starting tonight. But here's what makes this video different from everything else you've seen on this topic. I'm going to reveal the specific natural oil that makes this work, the science behind why it penetrates aging skin differently than commercial creams, and the combinations almost nobody is using correctly. Combinations that can dramatically enhance the results. Stay until the very end, because the reveal is worth it. My name is Dr. Albert. I've been practicing clinical medicine for 32 years, with a deep focus in dermatological health and aging skin in patients over 60. Over the decades, I've treated thousands of seniors who came to me not just with medical conditions, but with something quieter, a loss of confidence in how their body presents itself to the world. And I've learned that skin health, particularly in seniors, is deeply connected to emotional well-being, self-esteem, and quality of life. So when I talk about wrinkles and age spots, I'm not talking about vanity. I'm talking about helping you feel at home in your own body again. Here's what most people don't understand about aging skin, particularly the skin on your hands. Your hands are one of the most exposed parts of your body. Every single day, they face sunlight, soap, water, temperature changes, friction, and environmental stress. And after 60, the biological machinery that used to quietly repair all of that damage starts working at a slower pace. Research published in dermatological journals has confirmed what I've seen in my clinic for decades. After the age of 60, the skin produces significantly less collagen, the structural protein responsible for firmness and elasticity. At the same time, the skin's natural oil glands become less active, which means it can no longer retain moisture the way it once did. The result? Skin that looks thinner, more translucent, mapped with fine lines, and scattered with those flat brown spots, what doctors call solar lentigens, that show up after years of cumulative sun exposure. And here is the part that frustrates my patients the most. They try the expensive creams, they layer on the moisturizers, and after 2 or 3 weeks, they don't see meaningful change. That's not a personal failure. That is a biological mismatch. Most commercial hand creams are water-based. They sit on the surface of the skin, create a temporary feeling of softness, and then evaporate. Your aging skin doesn't need surface moisture. It needs something that seals hydration in, penetrates the deeper layers, and gives the skin the raw materials it needs to begin repairing itself. That is exactly what we're talking about today. To understand why this natural oil works the way it does, I want you to picture something with me. Think of your skin like a brick wall. When you're young, the mortar between those bricks, the lipid barrier, is thick, strong, and intact. It keeps moisture locked inside and keeps environmental damage locked outside. As we age, that mortar starts to erode. The barrier becomes thinner, more porous, less effective. Moisture escapes constantly. Irritants get in more easily, and the skin starts to look and feel compromised. Now, water-based creams are like spraying water on that crumbling wall. It feels refreshing for a moment, but it doesn't rebuild anything. It doesn't fill the gaps. What you actually need is something that behaves more like new mortar, something rich in fatty acids that can physically integrate into the lipid barrier, reinforce it, and help the skin hold on to the moisture it already has. Beyond the barrier, there's also the issue of circulation. As we age, microcirculation, the tiny blood vessels that deliver oxygen and nutrients to the skin's surface, becomes less efficient. This is why aging hands sometimes look duller, take longer to heal from minor cuts, and why the skin seems to lose that living, vibrant quality it once had. The right topical treatment, applied correctly and at the right time, can support that process. Not overnight, but consistently, meaningfully, over days and weeks. So what is this natural oil? I want to build toward that reveal properly, because understanding the why will help you use it far more effectively than just knowing the what. Let's start with the application mistakes I see constantly, even among patients who are already using the right ingredient. The first mistake is applying to completely dry skin. This is critical. Dry skin has a tightened outer layer. The cells are more compact, less receptive. When you apply any oil to fully dry skin, it sits on top. It doesn't integrate. It doesn't penetrate. Think of it like trying to pour water into a tightly sealed bottle. It just runs off the outside. The correct method is to apply the oil to skin that is slightly damp. After washing your hands, pat them just once, leaving a thin layer of moisture on the surface. Then, apply the oil immediately. That trace of water acts as a carrier, helping the oil spread evenly and begin absorbing into the outer skin layers, rather than sitting uselessly on top. The second mistake is using too much. More is not better. A few drops, warmed between your palms first, is all you need. Excess oil doesn't absorb. It just feels greasy and never delivers its full benefit. The third mistake, and this one surprises people, is the timing. Your skin has a circadian rhythm. Just like the rest of your body, it follows a biological schedule. During daylight hours, the skin is in defensive mode, protecting against UV radiation, environmental pollutants, and mechanical stress. It is not focused on repair. At night, that changes. During sleep, the skin enters regenerative mode. Cell turnover increases. Collagen synthesis is more active. Blood flow to the skin's surface rises. The skin becomes dramatically more receptive to anything you apply. This is why a nighttime ritual is not just a preference, it is a biological advantage. When you apply the right oil before sleep, you are working with your body's natural repair process, not against it. The fourth mistake is ignoring the massage. Applying the oil passively, just dabbing it on, wastes the opportunity. A slow, intentional massage of 1 to 2 minutes does two things simultaneously. It helps the oil penetrate the upper skin layers more effectively, and it stimulates microcirculation, bringing more oxygen and nutrients to the very areas you're trying to restore. Work upward along the fingers, across the knuckles, over the back of the hand, and don't neglect the spaces between the fingers. Those areas show aging too. If you've been doing some of this and wondering why you're not seeing full results, these 4 mistakes are almost certainly the reason. Now, before I name the oil, let me speak to you directly for a moment. If this information is genuinely helping you understand what's happening with your skin and your body, I want to ask you to subscribe to this channel. I've dedicated 32 years to serving patients in the clinic. This channel is how I serve the people I can't reach in person. My goal is simple: to help you age with more confidence, more comfort, and more joy. Subscribe if that matters to you. I want to tell you about Chloe. Chloe was 68 when she first came to see me. She wasn't there about anything serious. Her blood work was fine, her blood pressure was managed. She came because she was going to her granddaughter's wedding in 6 weeks, and she was quietly devastated about how her hands looked. She told me, "Dr. Albert, I've been the matriarch of this family for 40 years. I've held newborn grandchildren. I've held my husband's hand through surgery. I've kneaded bread and planted gardens, but I don't want to be in any photos at this wedding. I'm ashamed of my own hands." That sentence stayed with me. Chloe wasn't being vain. She was grieving a version of herself she felt she'd lost. And that grief was real. I explained to her exactly what I've shared with you today: the barrier problem, the nighttime biology, the importance of application technique. I recommended a simple, consistent nighttime protocol using a natural oil I'll name in just a moment, along with one specific combination for her dark spots. 6 weeks later, she was at that wedding. She sent me a photograph, her hand resting on her granddaughter's shoulder, holding a small bouquet. She wrote 2 words in the message: "Thank you, doctor." Her hands hadn't been magically transformed, but they looked softer. The spots had begun to fade at the edges. The texture was smoother. But more than the physical change, she had reclaimed something emotional: the confidence to stop hiding. That is what this is really about. Here is your practical protocol starting tonight. Step 1. Before bed, wash your hands with a gentle, fragrance-free soap. Pat them once. Leave a thin film of moisture on the skin. Step 2. Apply 2 to 3 drops of the oil I'm about to name. Warm it between both palms first for 10 to 15 seconds. Then massage it in slowly. Fingers, knuckles, back of the hand, edges, for at least 90 seconds to 2 minutes. Do not rush this step. Step 3. In the morning, rinse with lukewarm water only. Avoid harsh soaps immediately after waking, as they will strip the lipid reinforcement your skin worked through the night to build. Step 4. Protect your hands during the day. This is the part Chloe was initially missing. A daytime hand cream with SPF, worn consistently, prevents new sun damage from undoing your nighttime progress. What you repair at night should not be re-damaged during the day. Step 5. Be consistent for at least 7 days before evaluating results. Skin renewal is a slow, biological process. You are not looking for a miracle in 24 hours. You are looking for a progressive, cumulative improvement that builds day by day. And now, the combinations. If wrinkles and fine lines are your primary concern, mix your base oil with 2 to 3 drops of vitamin E oil. Vitamin E is a well-documented antioxidant that supports skin repair and helps improve the appearance of fine lines with consistent use. Slightly warm the mixture before applying and spend extra time massaging the areas where lines are most pronounced. If age spots are your priority, add a small amount of pure aloe vera gel, ideally from the plant itself, to your base oil. Aloe contains compounds that help calm pigment irregularities and improve overall skin tone. Apply evenly across the entire hand, not just on the spots themselves, so the tone lifts uniformly. If your hands are severely dry and rough, combine your base oil with a few drops of sweet almond oil. This creates a deeply nourishing layer that penetrates effectively into very dehydrated skin. After applying, slip on a pair of lightweight cotton gloves and sleep in them. You will feel the difference when you wake up. And one final combination, one that almost nobody uses, but that I find remarkable in its effect on overall skin tone and appearance. Add a very small pinch, and I mean very small, of turmeric powder to your base oil. Turmeric contains curcumin, which has documented anti-inflammatory and skin-brightening properties. Use it sparingly, only at night, and test a small area first. Too much will stain. A trace amount, properly mixed, can gradually improve tone and radiance over time. Now, the oil. The natural oil at the center of this entire protocol is virgin coconut oil. Cold-pressed, unrefined, virgin coconut oil. It is rich in lauric acid, capric acid, and caprylic acid, medium-chain fatty acids that have a unique molecular structure, allowing them to penetrate the upper layers of the skin more effectively than most other plant oils. Studies have shown that virgin coconut oil significantly reduces water loss through the skin, which directly addresses the barrier erosion I described earlier. It also has natural anti-inflammatory properties, which can help calm the chronic low-grade irritation that contributes to accelerated skin aging. It is not exotic. It is not expensive. It is not complicated. But used correctly, with the right technique, at the right time, with the right combinations, it is genuinely effective. I want to leave you with this thought. Your hands have carried your entire life. They've worked and cooked and held and built and healed and loved. They deserve care, not as a luxury, as an act of gratitude for everything they have carried. Starting tonight, before you sleep, give them 3 minutes. Just 3 minutes of intentional, consistent care. And over the days and weeks ahead, watch what begins to shift, not just in how they look, but in how you feel when you look at them. I want to ask you one question in the comments below. Which of these combinations are you most excited to try? The vitamin E blend for wrinkles, the aloe vera blend for spots, or the almond oil blend for deep dryness? Tell me below. I read these. Your responses genuinely matter to me. And if you have someone in your life, a friend, a sister, a neighbor, who has quietly stopped wearing short sleeves or who tucks their hands away in photographs, share this video with them. That single gesture might be the most caring thing you do for them this week. Subscribe to this channel if you want me to keep bringing you medically sound, practical guidance that respects your intelligence and your experience. And in my next video, I am going to reveal the one mineral that most people over 65 are deficient in, and how that deficiency may be quietly accelerating aging from the inside out. You will not want to miss it.